So how would you describe Xi Jinping's relationship with Putin right now?
These are two people who've been thrown together in a marriage of convenience. They've known each other a long time, so it's not entirely awkward, but it's not entirely comfortable either. There's not a lot of trust between these two people, and they each of them probably know that down the road, a number of years from now, the tables will be turned and one of them will be allied with America against the other. It's always been like that, and it always will be like that. That's how they see it. China did not expect its best friend Vladimir Putin to stumble in Ukraine. They may not have known it was going to be a full-bore invasion. I think many people suspect that they just thought it would be another replay of 2014.
They claim they weren't told. Publicly they claim they did not know. Yeah.
They claim that. I think the way we have to look at this is that, this whole the dynamic, it's the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is an ancient Chinese historical novel about three kingdoms that are constantly circling each other, vying with each other, allying, and then falling out, and allying with the other. It's a love triangle in geopolitics. So it's the Romance of the Three Kingdoms meets the Godfather. So the analogy that of Putin and Xi Jinping was that it's like two mafia dons. They meet and they're on good terms because their clans are on good terms, and one of them says, so-and-so is a problem there in Europe and we're going to take care of it. Sometimes I wonder, when Xi Jinping looks around and he looks at Putin, does it seem like he's looking in a mirror? Here are these two autocrats. They've been very isolated. Xi Jinping hasn't left China since the beginning of the pandemic. Obviously, we saw it from the dynamics of Putin meeting with his generals and things. He's surrounded by yes men. We have to assume the same is true of Xi Jinping. Where are they getting their information? Where is anyone getting their information? I think it's a pretty unsettled situation here. I'm not predicting anything because I just don't see enough. I think anyone who thinks that they can predict what's going on in China now are precisely those who don't know.
I do want to ask, I have to say I've been annoyed by just how many questions I get about the likelihood that now China's going to go into Taiwan guns blazing. That's clearly not the case. What lessons do you actually see the Chinese government having taken away from Ukraine in terms of how they think about Taiwan going forward?
I think it's been a sobering experience for Beijing. You've got to understand that this is a leadership where, obviously their rhetoric can be kind of belligerent, and they play a lot of games in the South China Sea and in the air above China's islands and things like that. But this is a country that hasn't had a real war, since the 70s. Literally since a border incursion with Vietnam, where you had like runners bringing orders to tank commanders because they didn't have modern communications. And I think what really made them kind of pull up would have been the incredible bravery of the Ukrainian people, the willing to do whatever they could, make a Molotov cocktail, train with a rifle cut out of a piece of cardboard or something. That's something that they would not have expected. And then, most importantly, the way that the Allies were rallied.
Rallied, yeah.
NATO has not been so energized in a long, long time. And I think everyone was surprised, but I think China especially would look at that and see it mirrored in their their nearer environment in the Pacific, and say, whoa, if you translate that, if you take that and place it against the template of Asia, we could have a problem. And so I think this has all had a very sobering effect. They were in no rush to invade Taiwan anytime soon anyway, and I think if anything, it's put that timetable back a little bit.